Hello everyone, my name is Michael SK and welcome back to Atri, My Dear Moments. Construction has begun into the wild contraption of creating electricity that we have in mind here. Will it work out? I actually hope so. I actually do have some expectations for what Natsuki can actually do here, as well as with Ryuji here. You know, there's a lot of, cleverness going on here, I would argue. Lots of smarts, obviously, with us, but Ryuji does provide a fair amount. He understands what we're trying to throw together here. So, yeah, I hope everything works out pretty well. But at the end of the previous episode, another character was kind of brought up. I think they were kind of teasing him about how there was somebody that, he kind of looked up to back whenever he was here years ago. I think before the Academy, before the Sea Rise and all that. I don't know, I'm getting my events probably mixed up a little bit here, but an individual was, I guess, talked about when they went out to do a little bit of shopping. So was that Catherine under a different alias, or is there somebody out there that is going to get introduced in the story? I don't know. By the way, where are the other kids? Oh, don't tell me. Do not tell me. Also, at the in the previous episode, they were told not to go downstairs. They can't be that dumb. They cannot be that dumb. Blood rushes instantly to my head. Atri. I grab hold of her hand and start running. The second floor is on the brink of being swallowed by the high tide. I rush into the waters, trudging through the waves crashing against my legs. I can feel my feet about to give way beneath me, but Atri keeps me upright. Ah, shit. Yep, they're down here. We hear the sound of screams coming from the room where our drainage hole is now filling with water. We charge across the threshold. Huh? What the fuck? And find there, soaking wet and holding a child beneath each arm on the lip of the hole, Catherine. Behind her, the tide is swirling around the hole in rising and falling motions, almost as if it is breathing. Atri, take the kids. She grabs each of them from Catherine's arms and pulls them back into the corridor. I pull Catherine through the door as the water surges behind us. My prosthetic leg, almost slips from underneath me. It's fixing, straining against my stump, but I manage to force my way back into the calmer water, barely. What are you doing here? She instantly begins scolding the two children. Catherine glares at the pair of whimpering children, and then she throws her arm open and pulls them into a tight hug. The kids wail and bawl as they cling to her. She gently strokes their backs as they weep into her shoulders. What the hell is going on? That's what I want to know. As relieved as I am to find the kids safe, I'm equally as confused as to why Catherine is here. Why is she here? I didn't think she would ever come to this building specifically. She accompanies us back to the classroom, where she suddenly turns on us. I mean, we're busy? And we actually told them not to go down there? Sorry, that's the fault of my design. Her scolding is so strangely powerful that everyone, me included, looks suitably cowed. I feel far more scared than I ever did when she had a knife in my throat. Good times.
まったく。あんたらも所詮ガキってことね。大人ぶって先生ごっこしてるらしいけど。
What she's saying is painfully true, so much so that even I can't bring myself to say a word. We've been so careless that we've exposed the little children and ourselves to potential death. We've made a huge mistake. Regardless, I have to clear something up. Why exactly are you here, though?
ぎく、ちょっと通りかかっただけよ。
Uh-huh.
ボート使わないと入れないのにか？
それは、
ごめんなさい。リリカ？どうしてリリカがごめんなさいするの？私が拾ってきたんだ。
Why? You what? Yeah, we need to get a little bit of an explanation here.
早く発電機できないかな？そしたら夜も本が読めて勉強できるのに。
Oh boy. Where is she finding all this alcohol in the end times?
何あれ？学校？学校が沈んでる傑作なんですけどへばっ学校か。思えば後悔ばかりの人生だったわね。
Yeah, again, where is she finding the booze? Where is this alcohol? She was so nice to her, but she was so mean to us.
学校の前で酔って倒れてたから連れてきて。
飯を分けてやって。
And she's been living here secretly since then?
こら、リリカ！人を捨て犬拾ってきたみたいに説明するな！
花ちゃん、ここにいちゃダメ？ダメっていうか。
Oh, wait. The name that she just called her. I guess that does actually match with the name that was brought up in the previous episode, so that is her. Everyone looks around uneasily, unsure of how to answer. She really isn't some kind of stray that we can feed and clothe or something.
心配しなくても出て行くわよ。世話になったわね。
She strokes Rika's hair and swiftly makes her way out of the door.
花ちゃん。
We should lock up that room to make sure that the kids can't get in there anymore.
発電機が稼働し始めた後は金網でも張るか。
We hurriedly incorporate a few more safety precautions into our design. Like, I don't think they should feel necessarily bad. Nothing bad actually happened here. Something bad could have happened, and they're making the moves to, prevent the worst from ever happening. Which I think is fine. I don't think they should feel bad whatsoever. Soon after a lot of trouble and some significant mistakes, our generator is ready to be installed. At low tide, we assemble in the classroom to put it into place. We position the turbine over the hole in the floor, link its axle to the motor, and enclose that along with the transformer and battery within a protective fiberglass casing to keep them dry.
発電機設置完了だ。
After Ryuji finishes hooking up the wires to the battery output, everyone breaks out into applause.
もう電気使える？扇風機動く？
Not yet. This will only start making electricity when the second floor fills up at high tide, and then the water starts going back out. It's not going to be generating a massive amount either, so we'll need to charge the battery properly for a while to make sure that we've got enough power.
夜になっちゃうね。
Exactly, which I suppose is perfect. We'll test it out then, and I suppose you can have a party or something while we do.
なーにそういうの好きだろみたいな顔して言ってんだよ、夏希。
そうだよ。夏くんも好きなくせに。
You know, it is worth celebrating. Come on now. I don't really care.
一日の作業を終えて水面の炊き出しを食べるとき、夏希さん、いつも幸せそうでしたよ。
Everyone snickers at Atri's innocent observation. Okay, I'm looking forward to it. Whatever.
かわいいな、夏は。
Oh, buddy. Ryuji sidles up to me and playfully knocks his shoulder against mine. Hey, stop that. Come on. We've not done wiring up the lights yet. We are not done wiring up the lights yet. Come on now. If we don't finish by tonight, we won't be able to test them out.
そうだな。楽しいパーティーのためにさっさと済ませるか。
There are times where I think I'm reading things incorrectly, and other times where I just don't know anymore. In order to actually light the classroom, we'll need to run wiring up from the generator. Ryuji will be handling that. Minamo tinkles her handbell.
それじゃあ教室に戻って授業するよ。発電機作りで遅れちゃった分取り戻さないと。
Yeah, good luck with that.
いいじゃん、今日くらい。
ダメ。ほら、行くわよ。
With characteristic energy, we dive right back into normal lessons. And we just gotta get through the day, really. Gotta wait for this damn thing to, you know, gather some of that lovely energy. The sun sets on our sinking town. The tide should just about be going out now. And there it is. I head down to the second floor to take a look. I take particular care, given what happened earlier, not to let myself be dragged by the current.
夏希さん、動いてますよ。
Although the tide has retreated, the second floor is still full of water as a result of our dam. It looks like we'll have plenty of water, but the flow is pretty slow. It's not making much of a whirlpool. The turbine isn't moving at all yet, but I expected that. It should spin more when the tide is low enough that there's a bigger gap between the hole and the water level on the floor below. The problem is making sure that there's enough water left when it starts to turn properly. I've made the hole smaller than it could be in order to slow the flow until then. If that's not enough, then blocking the doorway completely with a door that can be opened to let water into the room is another option. But that would require extra construction though. Using a sandbag dam to hold in more water might be an easier option to consider. I guess we'll see what happens. I do like the ideas floating around. Obviously, I'm not the smartest cookie in the jar. I've never been, but physics and all of that are very interesting. Being able to generate the energy that they're trying to generate here is a lot of fun to follow along with, even if you don't really know the specifics behind it. After class, everyone goes home briefly, only to soon return to the school.
うまくいってっかな。
If it isn't, we can just adjust it. And that means postponing that party. Rurika waves eagerly down at us from the window. We carefully make our way up to the classroom by flashlight.
みんな遅いぞ。危うく一人でスイッチを押しちゃうとこだった。
If the generator's working, then the lights should come on if we just flick the switch on the wall. Rurika must have been fighting the temptation this whole time.
大げさだっつーの。さっさとやっちまおうぜ。
I mean, it is a big event. This is exciting.
そう言ってるリュウジが一番緊張してます。
うるせえぞロボコ。
Yay.
ロボコはロボットへの別称ですよ。
お前は先輩を敬え。
私の方が年上です。誰がスイッチを押す？
そりゃあ。
夏希先生。
Of course it has to be him.
それがいいと思ってた。だって一番頑張ってくれたもん。
Really? I think Ryuji and Atri did most of the work. Most of the construction was handled by Ryuji, and we would never have broken through the floor if not for Atri.
すべては夏希さんの設計図があったからです。
それだけじゃねえぞ。お前がいなきゃこんなことしようと思わなかった。俺たちだけじゃ思いつくこともできなかったんだよ。やっぱエレ学校行ってたやつは違うな。
Yeah, can we stop the discrimination now? I sigh and shake my head, if only to hide my blushes. Well, I suppose I shall humbly take on this duty. I can't see the switch, though. Atri, give me a hand.
はいです。
She takes me by the hand and leads me to the wall. Right, here we go. The switch clicks. And... nothing. Maybe bad bulbs? Oh! There we kind of go. Yeah, there's some light. Nice. It takes a moment, but the light gradually twinkles into life.
すっげー明るい。
The children dance around excitedly. It's like it's the very first time they've ever seen such a simple thing. Come on, it's not that big of a deal.
明るい。すっごく明るいよ。夏くん。
泣くなよ、みっともねえな。
Yeah, I gotta admit, I would not like to live in a world without electricity. I'll just throw that out there. It would suck major ass. Electricity, plumbing, you know, just all the things that make living, you know, enjoyable and a lot better to deal with. You know, electricity really does add a whole lot to it, as well as plumbing. I'm really big on plumbing, honestly. Both of them have tears streaming down their cheeks.
どうして泣くのですか？何か想定外のトラブルでも？
Nope, just tears of happiness. Atri looks at them in utter confusion.
だって夜がこんなに明るいのって街が海に沈んで以来なんだよ。
ああ。
Normally, the only lighting in normally the only lighting in town is battery-powered torches, candles, and oil lamps. They only provide you with the bare minimum of light, which leaves the place quiet and gloomy by night. As much as I might try to play it down, for people who have been enduring those conditions for many years now, well, this must really be moving.
街はもうダメなんだって思ってたの。人もどんどんいなくなって、学校も廃校になって、大人たちもみんな諦めてて、学校のことも真剣には考えてくれなくて。
ああ。俺たちは所詮大人の言いなり。自分たちで何かを変える力なんかないって思ってた。
ありがとう、夏くん。夏くんが帰ってきてくれて。
Yeah, you better be glad. Just because we've lit up one classroom doesn't mean that we've changed the entire town and its future, guys. In fact, basically nothing has changed at all. But if anything, this could be a great first step. Why would it not be possible to get everything we needed, you know, get the whole town together, to basically build a massive variation of what we just created?
俺たちだけでできたんだ。
I suppose bright lights like these might give the despairing some hope. And if someone has hope, they can move forward. No matter how far away that light is, even if it's a million light years away, someone with hope can walk on, believing that one day they may reach it.
夜なのに本が読めるぞ。お昼みたいだ。寝ないで遊んでいられるね。
Yeah, don't do that. As someone who was once a child, I don't recommend that. I've done it a few times. Being able to stay up very late into the night or all night is something that I find myself unable to do nowadays. Unless I like sleep during the day before the night, yeah, there's just no way. So kids, definitely do not fucking do that. It sucks. You feel like shit for a while. Minamo and Ryuji watch the smiling children with moist eyes. Even I find my usual stony expression relaxing somewhat. The only person in the room not visibly moved is Atri. She merely looks on impassively. What's wrong with you?
人は嬉しい時にも涙を流す。これは皆さんが幸せになったという解釈でよろしいのでしょうか?
Okay, so we're seeing a little bit more of the machine behind her. Yeah, that's right. You should be happy too. We made this light together after all.
なるほど。喜ぶ場面なのですね。でも、私は泣けません。
How about you just smile then?
はいです。
Atri grins widely and joins the dancing children.
わーいわーい。とっても明るいです。やったな、子分。
What a wonderful sight. And then something's gonna go wrong, right? It always does. Something always has to. With everyone present in high spirits, we begin our tidal-powered celebration party.
扇風機涼しい。
うちにも電気欲しいな。
夜が明るいといつまででも騒いでられるな。
ダメだよ。そういう不良みたいなことしちゃ。
That's what I'm saying.
夜に本読むのも不良？寝る時間までならいいわよ。
The party looks like it will go on long into the night, fueled by Minamo's home cooking and plenty of freshly squeezed juice. Sounds like a good time. Eventually, I find myself sitting by the window spacing out.
夏希さん、お疲れですか？
No, I'm fine.
なんだよ、夏。もうお眠かよ。
毎晩徹夜して。
No, he has had
設
some
計図書いて
sleepless...
くれてたもんね。
He's had some sleepless nights, for sure. That's nothing unusual for me. I've pulled a lot of all-nighters. I stick my head out of the window to take a breath of fresh air. A warm wind tickles my face, tinged with the scent of the sea. That's fucking ominous.
どうしました？
Drawn by my gaze, Atri looks out the window. Yeah, that was fucking weird. I think we should go after all.
そうし
大丈夫かよ。送ってってやろうか。
なよ。心配ご無用です。夏希さんには高性能な私がついていますから。
Atri waves him away with a haughty huff. I take her by the hand and make a move toward the door. Okay, we're gonna head out.
あ、またな、夏。
おやすみ、夏くん。おやすみなさい、夏希先生。
With Atri in tow, I leave the party behind. So why was Catherine just, chilling outside?
ありがと思ってる。あの子たち、本当に発電機作っちゃったんだ。
What are you doing out here exactly?
ギク。
Atri, don't let her get away.
ラジャーです。
Why would she run? Atri darts in front of the retreating Catherine.
何よ。今になってあの時の仕返しでもしようっての？
That's not what I'm here for. I saw you sneaking around, so I thought I'd come out and talk. If you wanted to party with everyone, you could have just come in. You could now, in fact. It's not too late.
私、もうこの町から出ていくの。リリカには世話になったから、その前に様子を見に来ただけよ。
Don't you still need to get those debts back from me?
失敗ってことでおしまい。
Really now? So much for being a pro debt collector.
あれは嘘よ。取り立て屋なら、今頃無理にでもその子を引っ立ててるわ。
やれるものならやってみろです。
Catherine flinches in the face of the tiny girl's menacing glare. Yeah, she knows what she's capable of.
転職するわ。借金取りなんて向いてない。
Your real name's Hanako, isn't it?
その名前で呼ぶな。私はキャサリン。過去を捨てた女よ。
Do you have any idea what you'll do now? It's going to be hard for her to find a job in this economy. It's hard for anyone to do anything in this fucking economy. This whole, situation with the world is just completely fucked up. As I anticipated, for a moment, there is nothing but an uneasy silence.
なんだってやるわよ。生きていくためならね。
Even something illegal. I get the feeling you're not that kind of person. You were the first to react when the kids were in danger, and you seem like an old hand when it comes to disciplining them.
たまたま近くにいたってだけよ。
It made me think, I've got a job that might just be perfect for you. She fixes me with a look of guarded curiosity. What do we got in mind here? What do we got going on? It's not like we can actually pay her. The next day. There's no more work left to do on our generator. Our plan now is to keep testing it and deal with any problems as they come up. The major modification we want to make is to block the entrance with a door with a metal gate, or grate, and a lock in order to keep anyone passing by from going in. Ryuji will be dealing with that. As such, our busy days of construction have come to an end, and normality returns to the classroom. How many days have passed by? Good morning, everyone.
おはよう、夏希先生。
Once more, I'm stood at the front of the class, playing at being a teacher. Of course, I don't have a license or any kind of training, but perhaps because of my work on the generator, everyone seems to look at me as if I'm a real teacher. Before we start today, there's someone that I want to introduce to you. She's going to be the teacher. Come on in.
なんだ、また転校生か？
誰だろう。
Through the door walks a familiar figure. A certain gaudily dressed, cleavage-bearing woman without a past.
花ちゃんだ。
その名前で呼ぶな。キャサリンよ。
I mean, she
いや、花ちゃん
learned
だよ
the
な。
yeah, she learned the name from somewhere, right? Like she wouldn't call her that unless like she was told to call her that.
花子さんですよね。
Why do you insist on that name anyway? It's the most generic Western name you could possibly choose.
はあ？かっこいいじゃない。謎多き女って感じで。
I wouldn't say it's generic, but I get the feeling this argument is going to go absolutely nowhere, so I quickly move the conversation along. Anyway, Catherine is going to be our teacher from now on.
マジか！
Right? Osada Hanako, aka Catherine, used to be an elementary school teacher in this town. Well, there we have it. But the school was swallowed up by the ocean and she lost her job and quit the town shortly after. Okay. Nice that we're getting this,
いろいろあったのよ。
we're getting this information about her. Kind of fleshes her character out a little bit. When I asked her about what happened to Osada Hanako, Catherine stared off into the distance with a faraway look in her eye.
都市に出て行った後、私は私立探偵をやっていたわ。
Yeah, how'd that go? Why is that? I didn't want to interrupt her story, but I couldn't help myself. Excuse me, who quits being a teacher and suddenly decides to become a detective?
なぜって、かっこいいからよ。
Okay.
でも、想像してたような仕事でもなくて、いろいろやってるうちに裏社会の人間とも接触する機会が増えた。
I think that kind of just comes with that sort of occupation. If you try to be like an info broker or an investigator of any kind, like, it's rough business.
その中に、妙に私に親身になってくれる人がいて、気を許してたら、詐欺師だったわ。なけなしの金を取られた挙句、私の手に残ったのは一枚の借用書。これを金に換えろと言われて渡されたの。私は借金取りじゃない。あんたのばあさんの借金の債権者ってわけ。
Why did you say you were a debt collector then?
その方がビビらせられるって思ったのよ。私みたいなか弱い女が一人じゃ踏み倒されるだけじゃない。
Well, that's what ended up happening in the end, though. On that subject, I had no intention of selling Atri, but
いえ、期日が来れば売却してくれて結構です。
so that's the deal. It's not what I'd like ideally, but when the time comes, I will split the proceeds with you.
それまでどうにか生き延びるわ。
Her face told me that she wasn't expecting any money from me anymore.
そのためには仕事を探さなきゃなんだけど。一体何よ、私に紹介できる仕事って。
Whether you'll be able to actually get a proper salary for this job, I can't promise, but it'll give you somewhere to live. It's perfectly suited for your skills, too.
いい仕事じゃない。詐欺じゃないでしょうね。
I guess you can argue that teaching is a bit of a, a scam in a way. I pointed toward the half-submerged building with the single light behind her. I want you to teach here. And that's how we got to this point.
なあ、暇だしあんたらだけじゃ危なっかしいから、ここの教師をやってあげることにしたわ。よろしくね、子供たち。
それはいいがよ。なんでキャサリンなんだよ。
Everyone seems more confused by her naming choices than the fact that she's our teacher now.
でさ、寮ってどこなのよ。
No, not really. You should know from your last spell here that that's not the case. It was comfortable enough for you in this room, wasn't it?
そんな気してたけど。
花ちゃん先生、また一緒に住んでいいの？
I think Rurika's
その
just
名
happy
前で呼
to
ぶな。
not be
あと
alone,
捨
you
て
know?
犬みたいに扱うな。
She finally has somebody that can actually be here with her at night. Having been a professional teacher, naturally Catherine has a proper teaching license. It should be possible with a little discussion with the local government to get her a proper salary. The mayor, in fact, is Minamo's father? What the fuck are these freaking connections that are coming together? So I've asked him to talk things through with the other powers that be around here and if things go well, she should end up officially employed here. And thus another one of the school's problems might just be solved. We're really making progress here with fixing up the school, which does, make me believe that our next big problem is going to be fixing this town. When I arrived back in this town, I had no hopes, no dreams. I simply needed a place to go after I ran away from the academy. I hated the idea of depending on my grandmother, but a dropout like me hardly had anything else to do. I had no future. But then I met her. There she is. This strange, unpredictable robot girl. A humanoid who had been sleeping beneath the sea for years upon years. Without even knowing it, she started to change me. Yes, she did. We can see those changes too, it's great. Every single day since I met her has been so hectic and full of drama. I had spent so long stubbornly thinking that I had to live by myself, to have the strength to be alone. Then she came into my life and I didn't even have the time to think like that anymore. Every time it seemed as if I might stumble and fall amid the craziness of those strange days, I found myself instinctively reaching out for her hand. And it was there that I found a gentleness that I had long forgotten. I had also long forgotten that gentleness. Human touch is just wonderful, isn't it? And right now, that hand is holding mine as if it's the most natural thing in the world. But there's something supernatural about this small, delicate robot girl Atri. Since she started living with me, I haven't felt my phantom pain at all. I've come to learn that a lot of things are just like in your head. Phantom pain definitely sounds like something that's in your head. If your mind is clear, if your, mental state is in a calmer, place, then all of these, anxiety and panic-based issues are kind of just gone, like they've never been there. Still working on that myself because Jesus fucking Christ, but the human mind is such a powerful, powerful thing. It is insane. There are a few ways to ameliorate this phenomenon. One method is to reflect the opposite limb in a mirror and make it appear as if it's not missing at all. The brain will be fooled by this and the pain will stop. An artificial limb can help too, by what seems to be a similar mechanism. Back when I had just lost my leg, I suffered horrendous phantom pains all the time. The cybernetic leg my father gave me completely cured it. It was such a high-tech model that it felt like I had my real leg back. But when I was forced to sell it, the agony returned.
Natsuki-san, 今日は何の授業をしますか?
We'll be reading some literature. I know it's not your forte, but I want you to try thinking about the feelings of the author when they were writing. Oh, come on.
そんなのロボットの私にわかるわけないじゃないですか.
The whole point of studying is to learn how to do things you think you can't. Atri promised that she would become my new leg, and I haven't felt the phantom pain again since. Recently, I've spent so much time poring over blueprints in the middle of the night that often I find myself collapsing at my desk. Even without Atri sleeping in my arms, I haven't been assailed by these torments. I guess I owe it to you.
ついに夏希さんが私を認めました。高性能だから当然ですけどね。
Her cockiness is just
ということは、
insane.
今日こそ私がこっそり作ったお弁当を美味しく食べてくれるに違いありません。楽しみです。
Have you been wasting my food again? I slammed my palm down on the top of her head. I told you no touching the supplies until you've actually learned how to make something non-toxic.
そうしますからお許しを。
Hey, look, the school. Every day is lacking in rhyme and reason, and full to the brim with the unexpected. Yet somehow, it's starting to become so comfortable.
That's
Morning, Ryuji. As I walk into the classroom, Ryuji throws his arm around my shoulder. I'm getting used to this too, bizarrely.
またリュウジが夏希さんにベタベタしてます。
Hey, no jealousy
仲
here.
良しだね。夏希さんには私というサポートがいるのに邪魔なリュウジです。
なあ夏、お前仕事探してるんだったよな。
The job? Yeah?
それならよ、俺と一緒にサルベージ屋やらないか。
What, salvaging things for cash?
お前んとこの潜水艇を使うんだ。
I have heard of people operating those kinds of businesses. Generally, they're hired to retrieve crew and cargo from sunken ships, or even raise the ships themselves. I've never thought about that. Is there enough of a market for salvage around here?
なる。うちもそうだが、家が海に沈んじまった人は多い。引き上げたくても引き上げられない大切なものはあるはずなんだよ。
He has a point. I can still vividly recall the glistening of the tears in Minamo's eyes when we first turned on the classroom lights. Most of the people here were, most of the people here were forced out of their homes by the ocean, living without electricity in what remains of the town. Many of them are families who have lived here for generations, likely with precious heirlooms and memories left deep on the ocean floor when they fled in panic.
リュウちゃんたち何かするの？
ああ、お前も手伝え。小遣いやるから。
お小遣い絶対やる。
If someone had suggested an idea like this to me when I first returned to the island, I would have laughed in their face. A bunch of kids running a business. Don't be foolish. I thought exactly the same thing Ryuji did, that children like us didn't have the power to change anything. But we have, haven't we? Our achievements may be small so far, but we now know that we can change things. I never would have found myself answering the way that I do before. Sounds like it could be interesting. Let's give it a try. I can't for a second imagine what the future might bring. That's exactly why it's interesting.
よし決まりだ。放課後、作戦会議だ。
作戦会議だ。
はーい、あんたたち。授業の時間よ。席に着きなさい。
It's really weird seeing her in that position. Catherine enters the classroom ringing the handbell. Minamo, now the class president, leads us in greeting her.
起立。レイ。おはようございます。おはようございます。おはようございます。
はい、おはようさん。出欠は全員いるわね。生徒数少ないと楽だわ。
Yeah, have fun. I've never really considered teaching. I don't know if you guys are into that idea. I was a tutor at one point, actually. That was pretty interesting, but teaching a class, that's a whole different animal. Somewhere in the far off distance, I feel like I can hear the sound of gears spinning. The turbine? No, I think it might just be the future, turning in a direction I could never have imagined. And that's exciting stuff. It is. Ooh. Maybe we will be going underwater. I mean, it makes sense. Sort of the idea that we have here is to submerge. What the fuck? Suddenly a great black shadow spread across my entire world. Oh, this is him losing his leg, cool. My mother slams on the brakes and the car comes to a spinning, squealing stop, smashing hard against concrete. Before we can move, the shadow is upon us, enveloping us, weighing down on us, becoming everything. The thunderous roar of the shadow fades to a silence so baneful, I can hear my heart pounding in my ears. Mom, where are you? My fingers scrape through the dirt as I try to crawl in desperation toward her. Oh, here we go. I feel it, a pain like nothing I've ever felt before. My right leg is buried in darkness, completely immobile. It's like a great ravenous beast has crushed it in his jaws, pulling me back as frantically as I try to escape. Help, Mom, anyone. I reach out for a hand to save me, but it finds nobody. My leg, it hurts. No one can reach me here, drowning in these pitch black depths, the darkness filling my agonized body with each scream. Please, anyone help. Then I feel myself slipping into the embrace of oblivion, a glint of light. With it, a hand. Mom. the dark world fades into nothing. Okay, so he loses consciousness, and then he wakes up in a hospital or something, and he doesn't have his leg anymore, I'm assuming. It's the direction we're going in here. When I wake, I'm in a hospital bed. There we go. They tell me that my mother is dead and my leg is gone. There we go. Just easy stuff. I stare vacantly across the sterile white room. He is nowhere to be seen. Who the fuck are you? That's right, if the world can't be saved, neither can I. My father is doing it for my sake. I tried so hard to convince myself that it was the truth. Assailed by the irrationality of it all, the absurdity of what I was subjected to, and now abandoned to this senseless loneliness, I forced myself to believe it. I have to save the world. If I can't save the world, how can I be saved? I don't know, I'm a selfish piece of shit. I'm focusing a little bit more on myself. All the time. Everything else can come second, third, fourth, wherever. But like, it's me first, then the loved ones, then everybody else, you know? I would say that that's a really good order to go in. But I think we'll wrap it up there. And yeah, next time we'll... I guess we're embarking in the next arc here of this story. We got close to everybody in the school to a good degree, and now they're going to be helping us with trying to make some cash. So we're back out on the sea and ready to do some good old diving, which, you know, could pan out. That can work out really well, but I feel like the peaceful days will soon end. You know, they always have to. It doesn't matter what kind of story it is. You know, the peaceful days eventually come to an end somehow. In what way? Here, I have absolutely no idea, but we'll keep on trekking along and we'll see whatever happens. So thank you all for tuning in. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.